o'clock. This meeting is called to order. Mike, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Our first order of business is to approve minutes from previous meetings, starting with the work session on June 10, 2013.
I move to approve the minutes of the June 10 work session. Second.
It's been moved by Mike and seconded by Bill that those minutes be approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Next, we have the minutes from the regular Select Board meeting on June 10, 2013.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Dick, seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Announcements. The Select Board will meet on the following dates. Regular meetings at 6 p.m. on Monday, July 8 and July 22, 2013. Work review sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. PSU will meet with the members of the Planning Board during the work session scheduled on Thursday, July 11th, 2013 at 6:30 p.m. to discuss PSU's master plan. All of the above minutes will be held in the Town Hall unless otherwise posted. Weather observations for the month of May are available in the Town Hall. Citizens wishing to be listed on the Selectmen's agenda should notify the Town Hall before 12 p.m. on the Friday before the scheduled meeting. And please note that town offices will be closed on Thursday, July 4, 2013 in observance of Independence Day. Okay, our first item on the agenda is Michael Tednowski, but I don't see him here, so we will move on. We have a public hearing that isn't scheduled until 6:30, so I will go on with the agenda to new and other business. Starting with accept the generator grant process. Or do we need to have the public hearing first for that?
No, we don't. I can ask Paul to come up to the table, and I was just briefly discussing to him what we were talking about electronically,
Okay.
so we can have a small discussion on that too. Take up a little bit of time.
And I don't think everybody here has met Paul Hatch before, but I think you've met Mike and Dick.
Yeah.
But here we have Nick Ivor and Bill Bolton.
Nice to meet
And good to see you again.
Good to see you. Pleasure to be here.
Paul is from Homeland Security, and a couple of years ago we had an opportunity to start saving for a generator. And the generator at that time, we were going for two generators, one for here, one for the fire station. But we didn't have enough money to do a complete large generator at the fire station to be able to power the whole town hall at the same time. So it's just going to be a partial powering of the town hall, or maybe the downstairs or the upstairs, and use it as an EOC, Emergency Operations Center. But it is recommended from Homeland Security that when you power your building, you power the whole thing. So this year, we now have the ability to encumber the whole $29,400 that was voted to gross appropriate at the town meeting a year ago. And we were to check with the auditor. We can carry that forward into this, encumber it into this year that's about to start.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul can now finance half of a generator that will power this whole town hall. I believe the generator is around, bids are averaging around $53,000. So we have enough that we could have gone up to $58,000. And along with that, we know that we have some other electronic needs, security needs and stuff like that. And briefly, and I'm going to ask Paul to step in now. Paul was already having that discussion with Brian while we were across the hall in non-public. And it still looks like there could be some help in that area also.
That's correct. The EMPG, Emergency Management Performance Grant, is a FEMA program where the state receives funds from FEMA every year. And we, in turn, distribute that to towns for emergency preparedness efforts, pretty much first come, first serve. And generators are definitely on the eligibility list. We do a lot of generators for EOC, shelters, schools, anything that's considered critical infrastructure, the fire station being one of them, obviously. And of course, security is on everybody's mind now these days, in the forefront since Newtown and some of the other incidents. So again, we're working with municipalities and school districts as well to try and enhance some security in those facilities. Particularly, we can fund hardware items like cameras, panic buttons, lock sets, things like that. If you're talking about doing a renovation where you're going to be putting in walls and doors and stuff like that, that's considered more bricks and mortar. That stuff we could not help with the grant. But anything that's hardware related that will enhance security.
Is that matching money, Paul, or if we're just talking panic buttons, cameras, that type of hardware?
Well, the match can be 50% in terms of cash. We can also look at some soft match depending on the other projects the town's taking on doing. So maybe there's part of the security enhancements that we can't fund, but we can match that with the money for the hardware as a soft match. I mean, we want to look at your proposal and you know, make a decision on it. But those monies are out there. We'll be getting our new fiscal 13 monies in October with the start of the new federal fiscal year. So we'll be looking at the fall at the earliest before we could fund a project of that. But you can apply at any time. We can have the application for the generator ready to go, so as soon as the new money is accepted by the state, you know, we can start it into the process.
And that's right, tonight I would like the board to approve encumbering the full $29,400 forward and using that as our half match for Homeland Security will match the second half.
I have a motion to that effect. Any questions for Paul? Any questions or discussion?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I move that we carry forward that encumbrance as a match, the 29.5 or whatever.
I'll second it.
One discussion, I can just make it clear to the public, we have no need to raise extra funds.
Right.
This is money that's already been gross appropriated. We're probably actually now looking like we're going to come under by a little bit. I don't know if that includes the pad. We might be able to use that money for the pad, but the quote might have included even the pad and the insulation. But there'll be a little bit of a buffer
Right.
for some hard wiring.
We want to make sure that whatever quote you have for whatever vendor uses is up to date and current, that they'll, you know,
Right,
honor
we
that.
just got it
Yep.
a few weeks ago.
But the grant would cover the pad, the generator, the transfer
Half
switch,
of,
the
yep.
installation, half of it, right?
Right.
Tank, fuel tank, everything.
All right. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion is approved. That's excellent.
Thank you very much
Very
for
good,
coming in.
thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
But he's not done yet.
Not done yet.
That's why we do the public hearing.
Okay, next we have Steve Lefebvre. I guess Peter was going to be here, but discussing parking signs on Highland Street Extension.
I thought Peter was going to be here with me, but I guess not. Specifically, the area we're talking about would be right next to the bakery. I brought pictures for the board just so you guys can definitively know what we're talking about here. Some of the pictures are different views. But it'd be Highland Street Extension, you know, when you're going down by the bakery right there. What happens is, if you're going down towards the senior center, on the left-hand side against the bakery, that's actually privately owned, and there are parking spots there for you know, people who own the bakery and whatnot, and they can park there up against the building. The problem here lies is against the wall on the other side. People have been parking there, so what we're looking for is, and Peter agrees with me, if we can put up some no parking this side against that wall. Because it literally has happened where Peter could not get one of his trucks up through there because there were people parked on both sides. It's just not wide enough for two-way traffic with people parking on both sides.
Sounds reasonable.
Makes sense to me.
I have a
Questions?
question.
Yes.
Is there any way you can limit the extent that they park towards the sidewalk on the bakery side? So that there's more visibility and it's not quite so tight at the sidewalk?
Yes and no, and the reason I say that is because obviously there is a statutory requirement not to block the intersection so people can see. However, they actually own that piece of land. The bakery actually owns that piece of land right alongside
To the sidewalk?
I don't know exactly. That would have to be researched by, I don't know, somebody here would have to research, either Brian or,
I was just thinking about safety for visibility
Yeah.
and pedestrians and...
for the most part, I can tell you that it really hasn't been a problem because there is a crosswalk there and nobody's allowed to obviously park on the crosswalk, so the cars have been staying past that crosswalk. So that really hasn't been too much of an issue as far as that goes. I mean, obviously you get an illegal parker there every now and then and we have to issue them
Yeah.
a ticket, but for the most part, that hasn't been the problem. The issue's been, it's just too narrow there to have people parking on both sides.
Steve? So, were you talking about right along that stairwell?
That's what I'm talking about right there.
No, I'm talking, well, they're allowed to park here.
Yeah. Right.
What I'm talking about is posting it on this side
Oh,
here.
okay,
The
gotcha.
actual opposite side. Because right up through here is your choking point, your narrow point right at the beginning.
All right. What about by the stairwell?
No, that's not really a problem over there at all.
Oh, okay.
Because it widens up, as you go down the hill, it widens up.
Right.
So it's everything in that first section of kind of the retaining wall.
Correct, the retaining wall, exactly, yes.
Where would you mount the signs?
I discussed this with Peter, he had an idea, that's why I was hoping he was gonna be here. He said that should not be a problem mounting a sign, either to the wall or against the wall. He didn't see it.
It's just on the wall, it'd be
Yeah.
visible enough, yeah.
Yep.
Should it be striped also?
I don't think so. As long as it's a clear sign, I mean, any sign there, a brand new white sign against that wall is gonna stick out.
Yeah.
And be very visible. As long as it's visible, it's clear that it's there. Maybe some striping may help also. But at minimum, my suggestion would be to try the sign
See
first
what- yeah.
and see if that works, because that's, putting up a sign there is a minimal cost compared to striping it. So basically, just asking the board's permission to post that side.
I would make a motion that we post that side of the street for no parking, as the chief has described.
I second that.
All right, it's been moved by Mike, seconded by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
You
you're
staying up
still on
All right.
for the memorandum of understanding. And did you get my email back on that?
I did get your email back, and I don't know, because I sent the email out during the day today. Did anybody on the board not get my email?
I got it.
You got it?
Got it.
Did everybody have a chance to read it?
Not really.
No, I didn't get it. Anyway.
Oh, can I have a hard copy too?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
And they have, Val had the opportunity to go through it, and she shortened, about 3 sentences, which to me,
I think they're all in red, aren't they?
yeah, which to me makes great sense. It actually reads better with those amendments to it. And if I have those here, if anybody wants to read those.
There's not a lot of changes.
No,
it's not
it was
small.
just,
Stylistic
We're
and
talking
clarity.
4 or
Yeah,
5 words.
yeah. I don't think we need to. Or I should say I don't.
oh, you trust my editing?
Yes. I trust your editing.
I second that.
Are we, what are we doing with this?
Well, basically, this was my rough draft at the
Yeah.
beginning. I wanted the board to review it, get your thoughts on it. That way I could send this memorandum of understanding to Jim Hunreiser,
Okay.
and see what his thoughts are on it.
Does he know this is coming?
Yes, he does. Him and I had a discussion about this very thing. He does know what's coming.
Have we had a brief discussion about incorporating or maybe also addressing the issues that came up several years ago but did not get concluded in the same sort of vein of memorandum of understanding with the university? Are we going to address that at the same time or maybe take it up later?
No, I think that would be a whole different thing. I think this needs to stand on its own. And to me, at this point in time, this is more important and needs to be, put through first, and then we can work out the rest of the
Yeah, this is, I think the last time we met, you identified this as a standalone issue that
Correct.
just needed to be addressed.
Sorry.
Anybody have any questions? I'm sorry, they're still reading.
Yeah, the first memorandum of understanding, which we still need to look into and having it signed, that's the overall operation of the two departments, each other and how they operate. This one's definitely specifically how they operate in this one specific area.
In which it hasn't been signed, however, we have been working under those terms anyway.
It's not a big issue.
No, it's really not a big issue. That's why I said this is more of an issue
More
that needs to
important.
be addressed immediately.
So I guess, are we looking for a motion to authorize the chief to take this and discuss it with Mr.?
Do we need that, or do we just need a
No, I don't think
consensus
so. I
of the
think you
board?
need to just give it some thought, look over it the next few days, send any of your ideas.
Okay.
No, don't correspond as a group, but you can send your individual ideas to the chief, and he'll sit down with Mr. Hunriser and,
And I will be making the changes that Val had.
Right,
for us.
okay.
I think it reads a lot cleaner that way.
so it's going to be a fluid document for a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
And then if he
Great.
has suggestions or whatever, what I can do is email it back to the board.
Sure.
Just so we all know what's going on.
Yep.
If anybody at that point has any input, please, email it back or whatnot.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's
Sounds
good.
good.
Very good.
Excellent, thank you.
Well, you're still next, because we've got a new purchase order,
Geez, okay.
Tritex Perform Solutions.
3 in a row.
Right. So we've got your purchase order here in the amount of $10,425.
Correct, this is nothing new to the board, this is our police software that we use at the police department for dispatching, reporting statistics. It encompasses everything, just having the board sign it now, so come July 1st when the new budget starts, we can pay the bill immediately. It's what we do every year.
So is your license up at the end of June too?
Yes, technically, yes.
Just
They
about-
wouldn't go shutting us off if we voted, no, not to pay this right off, but,
We like to pay our bills on time.
yes, yes, we do.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Dick, seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That purchase order is approved, and I will go ahead and sign that. Okay, thank you, Steve. I think that is the end of the order. Okay, the next, Paul, we've got a carryover request from Paul Freitas for the Town of Plymouth Semi-Quincentennial Committee for semi-quincentennial preparations in the amount of $1,794.95.
All the departments trying to turn back as much as they can. We only have this one carryover this year. And the way carryovers work, the number that you're looking at is the not to exceed number. That's the amount of money that's left in that account as of today. As you know, those of you that are on the committee, there is still money that is going to get spent between now and June 30th. If they spend any of this amount of money, that's the only amount of money that will be able to go forward. It still won't be $1,794. It'll be what's ever left of that line. But as of today's meeting, that's how much was there, and that's what we still have to work with in this fiscal year. And then starting July 1st, we'll have another $15,000 to go forward on the event. So that's how the carryovers work, and I'm going to also ask that we put the generator there just for tracking purposes, because as you will see in a little bit, public hearing, it takes a lot to get these federal grants through, and have you notified the public, have you notified your board of selectmen, were they aware of it, and was the money there, was it encumbered, and all these questions. And this will just help the finance department track it through the minutes. They'll be able to send tonight's minutes. They'll have Paul Hatch talking earlier on it, and then we'll actually put it down as a carryover. It doesn't truly have to be a carryover. It is money that's non-lapsing for
Right.
3 years. And so it's not being done for the purpose that this one's being done. This money could lapse. But it's just being done for finance. It'll just be a cleaner way to track it when we have to track these things for the federal government going forward.
So can we have a single motion to approve the carryover of the semi-quincentennial preparations money in the amount of $1,794.95? And it looks like we've got Memorial Day here also in the amount of $985.89. Was that money left over from?
Yes, that's money that's left over. I feel that we still make a little bit on the semi-quincentennial as far as the town.
Okay, so, and that's, the Memorial Day and Veterans Day are under patriotic observances, so that could actually even be used.
There would be a proper use for it.
Right. So the total amount then is $2,780.84 to be used for the semi-quincentennial, and 29,000, what was the amount that we encumbered? 400 for the, that was encumbered for the generator, all to be carried over to this next coming fiscal year.
I would make that motion
I would second that.
All right, it's
without
been,
repeating it.
Yes.
Without repeating it.
okay. It's been moved by Mike, seconded by Bill. Any questions? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved. And since we do still have a couple of minutes before we do our public hearing, I would invite the board, since we didn't get a chance to look at it during the work session, to take a look at the proclamation that's been prepared. And I did have one word change on that. We used the word marking twice in one paragraph, in the second paragraph, so I had changed, would suggest we change the second, where it says special events to mark its rich history, say special events to show its rich history.
Exhibit?
Exhibit, yeah, exhibit's even better.
Demonstrate.
Demonstrate. Showcase.
Show, exhibit, and demonstrate.
You didn't say them all.
See page 2.
Okay.
So exhibit.
That's true.
I think this is very good. I like it a lot. I think if Paul did the original draft of this, it's very nice. I mean, it's not that long, but I know it's not that easy when you start writing something.
I know. Anything anyone would like to add to it? I can tell you that it was not easy to get this all onto one page.
That's what it actually came down to.
It's a big page.
It's a big page
Yeah.
too, but it was the signature blocks that had to have space for it, and then the town seal will go on the side.
Oh, yeah.
So the plan will be to have one made up like a scroll for that day that will be able to be read by Val. And then
It's
we'll
gonna be
also
Mike
have
reading
one.
it.
Hmm?
I think Mike will be reading it.
Or Mike, whomever's going to read it that night. And
I'm
we'll
gonna,
have another one mounted in the hallway,
Right.
framed and mounted.
Sound good?
Yeah, very
All
good.
right.
yeah.
I can pass this down to Paul to give to Kate to get that one word changed. Does everybody like the font on it? I think it's easier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, nice and clear.
Yeah. And since we do still have 4 minutes to our public hearing, I also had a request from the chair of our semi-quincentennial committee that we consider allowing some of our local merchants to sell merchandise on the common on the day of the 20th, the main day of the celebration. I think we're all aware that, and it would be merchandise that would be related to the semi-quincentennial, like T-shirts and coffee cups. We've never allowed it. The Friends of the Arts has their art show on the common, and that is a sale, but it's a nonprofit. theoretically for this day, that, I mean, even though the semi-quincentennial is being funded by the town and the Rotary Club, and worked on with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears by the Historical Society, I don't think that these activities, these things that they'd be selling would be anything as a fundraiser. I think they would be profit makers, although maybe that's a distinction that we would need to make. If it was going to be going to the Rotary Foundation, maybe we could consider it.
Is that the case? Is that
I
what
don't
Steve
know.
is-
I don't
yeah.
have a lot of details. I just wanted to run it by you and get your thoughts on it, because
So if it was a nonprofit type community organization, or,
well, I think we've
Or
got
all
some actual
benefiting.
merchants who are having stuff made, but I don't know that it's necessarily going to be for their profit. I think that, they'll probably keep the money that they used to have the stuff made and then maybe donate the rest to the foundation. I don't know.
Well,
This is a very brief and not enough details in the
I
conversation.
mean, if it were like the Rotarians, they would essentially just pass a check over to the town. That's what they seem to indicate, but.
I think the way it's going to work is that the check is going, the money is going to go to the Rotary Foundation, and they will decide what to do with it, which will be probably some of it going to the Historical Society. I don't think that the town is going to get back anything. I mean, that's why we did the appropriation last March to pay for the celebration. I think I'll go back to Steve and ask him for more detail
I'm
on
pretty
it.
sure you're right. I don't think there'll be anything coming back to the town.
No.
Anything left over, I believe, is going to the
Historical Society, and I think there was also, they had some other idea too of something they might do with it, but I don't remember the detail of that. But let me get more information from him about who's actually planning on selling and what they're planning on selling and for what purpose, and we can think about it some more.
Was there a meeting today?
Hmm?
Was there a meeting today?
No,
next
Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Good.
Next Tuesday.
Thought I missed another one.
Committee reports.
Committee reports, yes.
There's been no activity, with exception, but you're,
at the planning
yeah,
board meeting.
but you're the rep.
Well, I had a conflict that night and I was unable to attend.
Well, it was a follow-up to the first meeting, and,
So it was public information
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah.
Anything significant in your estimate?
Significant? No, it was, more of a chance of individuals to ask, I guess, how the development might proceed, and access and cuts and alternative, routes to, share access. And so I think it was just like basically making the planning board more work. So, but it was very interesting. It was very, very civil, and, it was a very good discussion.
Good.
It was well attended.
It was that, too, yeah.
I went to the last directors meeting of the Chamber of Commerce, and there wasn't a whole lot of interest there, but there are two events coming up. One is the Taste of Newfound, and I wrote down the date today and forgot to bring it, but that's sometime in July, that whole thing down on Newfound Lake at the inn.
The Inn on Newfound Lake, they
Inn on
really do
Newfound
a
Lake.
good job. It's a
That's a
fun
nice
event.
event that people might want to go to. And then the Chamber also is doing, I think it's its 22nd, maybe, golf tournament in September, and I think it's going to be at Owl's Nest this year. And I know that they're looking for more teams because they were talking about that. So if anybody out there golfs and wants to be in a tournament with the Chamber in September, that's another opportunity.
Great.
I don't have anything to report.
Leo doesn't? All right, and having finished that, I have nothing to report, and it is 6:30, so I would ask that we begin our public hearing with Paul Hatch and Casino Clogston regarding the acceptance of a grant from Homeland Security and FEMA to offset the funding to replace the fire chief's vehicle, which was previously approved at the March 2012 town meeting. Gentlemen?
So soon again. Madam Chairman, Select Board, I have a grant here for the town of Plymouth in the amount of $21,325 to be matched with town funds that were approved. This is to purchase a command vehicle for the fire department, but it would be used for all hazards type emergencies, not just for fires and EMS type calls. Certainly be used, shared with the police department and the other town departments. This money has been set aside for the town of Plymouth. If the board approves this grant tonight, it still has to go through the governor and council process, so we're still looking at a couple of months before the money is actually available to draw down for the purchase of the vehicle. And this also will outfit the vehicle with the necessary equipment and ratings.
Everything that we need. It's going to be 100% complete.
What kind of vehicle is it?
It's an SUV. The police interceptor is the one that we're looking at.
Which is a...
Ford Explorer,
Oh, okay.
basically, is what it is. And in the back of it is where the command center will be, 2 radios, all the frequencies you can think of, charging base for the portable radio, dry erase boards, all your maps, all the stuff that we would need, whether it be a fire event, wind event, a police emergency. If the PD needed it, all you got to do is call and we'll get it to them to, let them use the radios and everything out of there that they need. So it's, it's not just for us, it's for any hazard going on in the town where that vehicle is needed.
Now, was that the anticipation, we put the 21,000 aside that would be...
No, I want to thank the chief. At that time, it was to replace the chief's vehicle.
And we thought it would cost maybe 20 or
31 or something.
With the budget the way that it was, we were going to piecemeal it,
Oh, I see. So
replace the vehicle, and then start outfitting it.
I
And
see.
then discussion with Paul Hatch here, he said, geez, they're on the low end, and if there's money left over, there's a chance that you may be able to get it, get to 50%. So we said it's worth waiting to see at the end of their fiscal years what we did, which is why it's been so long.
Yeah.
So we went for it and was successful.
We're getting a much better vehicle, and again, for around the same amount of money, if not.
Right.
less.
And not having to pay for outfitting it
Outfitting,
and all of that.
In several different budgets.
And you've probably seen one just like, the state DOT, state police, you'll see them with and you see the hatch open off the back and they're working off the back out on the highway. It's similar to one of those.
Yeah.
Also that, we've had events where both chiefs have had to control the command center out of their vehicles.
Right.
So this would replace that.
Since the intent of the vehicle is slightly different to replace your vehicle, is it going to be like housed in a different area, or?
No, it'll still be my primary vehicle.
Okay.
Like any piece of apparatus, if any other town needed that piece of equipment, just a phone call will get it. Like if I'm on vacation and not available, that vehicle is either left at the fire station or whomever's taking, filling in for me while I'm gone, it's always in the town and available, with the exception if it's at another call somewhere else.
Are these state funds or federal pass-through?
Federal pass-through. FEMA disperses the money to the state fiscal committee, the legislature votes to accept the monies into the state, and then we in turn disperse it down to the community. So the funds are here. This is the last of the fiscal 12 funds that we are expending here tonight.
Any other questions, discussion? I think this is just great. Good work on your part, Casino, for figuring out a way to do this.
Very instrumental along with it.
Yeah, well, that's good too, and
Done
thank
due
you.
diligence as well, so it's been a process, like with any grant, it's a process, and this is just another step tonight in that process.
Yeah. So, we do need a motion on this one as well.
Madam Chairman, I believe point of order, we would close the public hearing if there's no other comments, and then make the formal motion. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so the public hearing is now closed. Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies.
No, Karen also has a chance to come up and.
Oh, yes.
and change her signature.
And I would ask for a motion concerning accepting this grant from Homeland Security to offset the funding to replace the fire chief's vehicle, which was approved at the 2012 town meeting.
And upon GNC approval, or it doesn't matter at this point, just we're accepting the monies to,
Pardon me?
upon GNC approval, or
On what approval?
do we have to wait for
Governing
GNC
councils.
approval? Or?
Governing.
Governor and council?
If they don't approve it, we're
No.
not going to get it.
Yeah,
Right, you're just not gonna get it.
Right,
okay.
I'll make that motion.
all right.
I can tell you that there's probably a real good chance that you're gonna get the vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
like it.
There's been an awful lot of effort put into this,
Oh,
so.
I'm sure.
All right, so that was a move by Mike and second by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you again.
Yeah,
Right
thank
now,
you.
the fund starts with the signatures.
Okay. Okay, let's,
Sign on the left and print name and title on the right.
okay.
And I'm sorry, there's only 3 slots for selectmen, they don't have 5, so you can arm wrestle over maybe 3 to 10.
I want the card.
Well, we made the motion so they can sign
Yeah,
it.
makes sense.
And if you would also initial at the bottom, please, too.
Mhm.
A lot of stickies on there.
This is like doing a mortgage.
Yeah. Familiar with that.
It's okay if I read outside the lines.
Yes. And clerk, you could initial at the bottom of the page, too. There's the 3 lines down at the bottom.
Yep.
And this is just initials.
Just initials on the rest of them.
Every word in a speed reader. Karen.
Stamp here. Do you have a seal? Just that. Well, do you want a copy tonight, or do you want me to scan that and send it to you?
Just scan it.
Send it to you tomorrow. You can get the minutes tomorrow.
We'll get you the minutes tomorrow.
Okay.
That's true, I'm only 5 days to produce minutes.
Now if somebody's giving you money.
I suppose not.
Unfortunately, our business office has moved our deadline up till close of business tomorrow.
Oh, really?
So that's the urgency. Normally, we can wait 72 hours or whatever.
Right, so we're lucky we
Okay.
had this meeting tonight.
It was
Just-
perfectly timed.
Just all the initials.
Is this the
And
deadline
dated too,
we're
right?
running into?
Yeah, state deadline.
State fiscal year ends.
Oh, there's a lot of I gotta read this.
Yeah, no, sign and then you print and you title. Okay.
I'm not sure what I'm signing.
That's the fuel bill for the vehicle. Yeah.
Everything's upside down now. That's it.
Well, Karen's finishing that on the Selectmen's proclamation for the 250th. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that signed this week because we're trying to get reproductions of all those things into the program booklet. And they've got a deadline of the 1st of July, so I'm going to try and get everything to Lisa for printing by
So we
Friday.
talked to Lisa about, go see Lisa about that.
Hmm?
Oh, you talked to Lisa on Dart.
Yeah.
It'll just be in the signature file.
Yeah, we'll just,
Oh, okay.
I'll just talk to Kate about it afterwards, but just, that would be good.
So you have to have a clear signature. Just FYI.
Did you see what the new Secretary of the Treasury did? Who was that guy? He had this. Is that Lowell or something? Yeah, he had
We're
this
good.
signature.
Thank you, sir.
Circle. Somebody made him change it.
All right, thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you for your support,
Nice to
appreciate
see
it.
you.
Thank you.
Good, thank you for your support.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, thanks, Chief, that's right.
Thanks for your help. Appreciate it. Check this right there.
Okay. And that gets us through the agenda, other than public comments. Is there any public comment tonight? Yes, Mr. Miller.
I'm just curious, this new generator set, is it sized, say, for ultimately the upgraded public safety building? Would be using it there? Would we move it to that location to be used?
I'm going to say no.
The PD's got a significantly sized one that could ultimately be moved. I don't know if it would run a whole safety complex, but the fire department also has one too, so we actually have two that we could move somewhere else if need be.
Okay, I just wondered if we were pre-planning the ultimate.
The one at the fire station was planning for a much larger facility. Currently, when we're running everything, that generator's only at 29%,
Right.
and that is benefiting movement.
Okay.
I'd say between the two that are already capable of moving, the chances are probably not. And also, we would be changing its initial request for usage.
Okay.
So,
All right, any other public comment? Yes.
Madam Chair, if I could, just a point of safety, the lights at the end of Highland Street and Tenny Mountain Highway, I don't know if it was from the lightning storm, but they're all blinking right now. We're in the process of getting that fixed, but I just wanted to make an announcement so everybody's aware. If you're traveling through there, please be careful. DOT's got about a 2-hour ETA to get to the spot to fix it, so we're getting some police officers out there to direct traffic to help it out. So.
Great, thank you. Yes.
At the risk of admitting to a traffic violation, the new light on the curved entrance onto Highland Street, could you tell me what that is and how it works? How many laws have broken?
Well, no, you can consider it DOT, that's another area DOT is going to fix. Right now, it's red more than it is green. They're changing that, so it's going to be green more than it is red, and it's really for when the people are pulling out of the new parking lot coming from McDonald's across. It's really for that. When that turns green, you're going to go across because it's very difficult to see that traffic coming towards you. However, you can consider it as a right turn on red.
That's my next question, thank you. That'll be very helpful.
And that's where we had previously had the yield sign, is that?
Yes.
Correct. There was a yield sign there. When it first happened, there was a bit of confusion because we had the lights and the yield sign was still up. So there was some confusion. Yield sign's gone, but even if it's red, please consider it right turn on red. As long as you stop, look, you can proceed after that.
Great.
So since we're discussing that intersection in lighting, it is being studied by DOT, by safety. And another thing that you might have noticed, you'll see masts out there. Might as well get this out in the open too, with no lights on them.
Yep.
And they were installed. But if we want more lighting at that intersection, the town has to not only supply the fixtures, but the conduit to get power to the fixtures and the future electric bills. Because if you remember, the state tried to take out 4 fixtures 3 or 4 years ago. We had a safety meeting, we deemed it necessary to at least have 2 lights at that intersection. We actually lost one of those due to one of the entrances, so we're down to 1, but the additional lighting that has been brought in because of the stores and the lights in McDonald's parking lot, it's actually more candle power out there now than what
Right.
we've been running with. I don't know if you've seen any,
I haven't
if it's
been
that
able
dark.
to look at it lately. It's something we're gonna have to evaluate. I know we've evaluated it before, and it needed some more lighting. So again, I don't know with some of the, new businesses being out there, and I saw on the sign McDonald's said that the drive-thru's open 24 hours now, so I don't know if you're gonna get some ambient lighting from the parking lot there into that intersection. So we're gonna have to constantly evaluate that to see where it needs
Right.
The upsetting part about it, this was always the state's responsibility, and they always paid for the lighting in these intersections. And when they were approached by the co-op and said, had the town not chosen to keep the 2 lights there, first of all, why did you design these lights into it if they weren't going to be completely used? And they said, we only designed it because the town had left 2 lights. And then when the co-op asked, well, suppose the town hadn't left the 2 lights because you were going to take all 4 out, how would you have designed that intersection? And they were going to design that intersection as a dark intersection, which is what you're starting to see across the state. Because I guess they pulled another 90 lights last month or so.
Which would not be in the best interest of the town to have that as a dark intersection.
No.
We have a lot of accidents at that very intersection, so.
Well, it's because there's such a slowdown, and people don't even recognize when it goes from 55 to 40.
Correct.
And without lights there, it's even less of a reminder.
So it's not like an unfunded mandate or something, or what? Yeah, okay, so, and could it be like a condition of, like whoever develops there in the future, can we,
You can look into that, Bill, but in all honesty, that's really not done for a state highway either. We started looking into that. But it's normally the state that picks up an intersection.
So is what's happening across the state is that they're just
They're
taking...
getting a lot of dark intersections, almost every exit, coming off of 93 has had the lights illuminated.
DOT's underfunded.
But they tried shutting off all 4 lights, and it completely darkened that intersection. We didn't even have enough traffic lights, and that's where we're getting a lot of this ambient lighting that you see. It might be a little bit of green, and it might be a little bit of yellow and red, but it's significant enough that it has raised the candle power in that area. But we also have a different kind of traffic flow, like.
So can I ask a question? So the 2 lights that were left there until recently were being paid for by the state? Is that...
No, we've been paying for those for the last 3 or 4 years. Or else they were going to be removed also. We had to take we tried to get them to pay for that, and we lost that battle. But it was too much of a safety risk for us not to have something there.
And now we have 1.
We have one, it's towards the intersection on the Harris side, furniture side of the road. It's the one that's left on a regular telephone pole. The rest of the lighting that you see there is actually coming from the stores, and the fact that McDonald's is open 24 hours a day, and you have those to the entrance to McDonald's and the exit. There's some parking lot lights that we're getting some reflective lighting out of that.
so in future development, instead of like discouraging, light, we should encourage. Sounds like...
I can tell you our electric bill will go down by 1 light, because they did illuminate 1, so. That's it.
I got one more announcement, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Just so everybody in the public knows, we have an officer now, Officer Jill Carroll, who is certified in child safety seats. We sent her to a school for that. We've had many requests for one of my officers to inspect child safety seats to make sure they're installed properly by people. We haven't had this before. We just sent her to the school. She is certified now. So if anybody has the need or wants their child seat inspected by us to make sure it's installed properly, we do have the staff to do that. Please call the police department and we can accommodate that now.
Super. All right, and have we anything?
I have a question.
Yes.
Hey,
I have a question. I'm not sure if this is where we're supposed to address it. I'm KK Goffey. I live in the town of Plymouth, and I'm here to get approval to set up a hot dog cart on Tenny Mountain Highway. I'm not sure.
Brian, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm Lori
This is my
Vashon
sister-in-law.
from the town of Plymouth. Brian Murphy said we should come tonight in case you had questions about our permit, so that's just why we're here.
And that was in the signature file. We understand that you are placing this on private property at 5 Main Street?
Actually, we have a couple of approved spots. One is 5 Main Street, which is where Boomerang and the thrift store are located. Another one is the clothespin on the grassy area of the clothespin. That was part of the application.
Yep.
And a third area, which I have approval for here, is in the parking lot of Tractor Supply. And you do not have this.
Our teenage children are going to run it.
Oh, you didn't tell us.
That third one would fall underneath the same regulations as the first two.
Okay. Okay, so this,
Somebody didn't say
Sorry, Kate. It's okay.
It's going to be hot dog city.
Children to the- Sorry, dogs can run it too.
Put it all together.
yeah, this was a fairly extensive, actually, you haven't seen any of the signature file yet.
Yes.
Any questions for them?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Okay.
so.
Are they good hot dogs?
They're going to be delicious.
Absolutely, Mike.
Absolutely, with all kinds of toppings, I'm sure.
Chili topping.
And will this be a summer operation, or?
It will be early. Typically, this is our first year getting started with it, but as soon as the weather gets nice into the fall. So, as the weather provides.
All right, well, it looks like you're getting approval signatures on all of it, so we wish you all the best.
So do we get something formal to start, or I'm not sure if we need,
You just,
we did. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Free hot dogs, really?
All right.
you still need to come in and see Brian, and then he'll give you, if there's any paperwork to go along with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're approved, but Brian,
Okay, we'll stop in and see him. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, and Paul, was there anything for non-public?
Yes.
Okay,
Personnel and real estate.
okay. So at this point, I would request a motion to go into non-public in accordance with RSA 91-A:3, 2, A and D.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Mike, seconded by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect.
We are in non-public.
Yes.